Page 211, Careless Love. It's another lead sheet type thing where you get to harmonize. Here they're giving the chord names above the staff. Same procedure. First I want to go through the melody. Make sure I know that. This is the 1 sharp. We're in the key of G major. Common time or 4/4 time. The 1 and 2. Thumb on that one. 1 and 2. Now I want to thumb again. I don't. If I'm going to do that, I'm going to use second finger on the whole note on the A. That way I can use the thumb. 1, 2, 3, 4. It says moderato, but this really is moderato more for the 8th notes. Then it's if you go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. That's a little fast. Slow it down. It's more like an andante in that case, but here it's more like the 8th notes. 1 and 2. More like that, and I think usually in how this is done. Now the chords. I want to make sure I know what the chords are. So we have a G chord and a D7 chord and a root position. And I'll tell you how I know that in a minute. Back to the G chord. And then we have a D7 with an F sharp on the bottom. And that's how I know the first one is root. Now they want the F sharp on the bottom, so it's this. I'm leaving out the A. You don't have to have all the notes. G, G7, and then a C with a G on the bottom. Well, that makes sense. It resolves. It's secondary dominant resolving. And then a G, a D7, and a G. Okay, now put it together. Let's hear the harmony and the melody. Just basic here. Don't have to, I just did. Then it's here. I guess it sounds okay, a harmony and melody. They have a suggestion for half notes here, and that's block. Again, that's what I just did. And they're not using all 4. They left out the A. I used all 4. I don't see any. Okay, you can use all 4 if you want to. Try that Alfred bass. It's out of. You wouldn't use it in this, but just for practice. So maybe here. Try different patterns in the left hand just for practice, just for playing around with it. It's a little advanced for this, but a lot of times what they'll do is they'll play the bottom note in the chord in octaves. They'll come up and play the chord as a block chord that way. That's something you need pedal with that kind of thing to help you to connect the left hand a little better. There's a note here to transpose this to A major. So we go from G major to A major, you go up 1 step. And instead of 1 sharp, now we have 3. The F, the A, the C, and the G. So all the melody, you go up 1 note. Instead of a B, it's a C, except in A major, it's a C sharp. So, Jonathan, don't forget the G sharps. Just playing the melody up 1. That's an E sharp here. Here. It's and then the chords, instead of a G, you got to go up 1. So it's an A, And instead of a 5-7, D7 is a 5-7 of that, we're going to do a 5-7 that's an E7. In other words, the letter and the chord name goes up 1. Instead of a G, it's an A. Instead of a D7, it's an E7. And then back to an A. And then an E7 with a G sharp on the bottom. And then back to an A. And then an A7. This is a D chord with the A on the bottom. Like so, or here. And then an A chord, then an E7, and an A. I just took all the letters up 1, is all. And you can play that together and experiment with that. Yeah, it comes in handy when your singer comes in and say, I can't sing it in this key. Can you take it up a notch? And you say, sure, no problem. And then you do your magic and that happens.